Okay. Can it be brought a little bit more down, this mic? Because I can't see the PowerPoint here. Just a little bit. Can it go a little bit down or no? Can it come from below? It can't? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, this is good. This is good, yeah. Let me know when you do that thing. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We're just going to get started. Prabhu, can you put it? Yeah, this is perfect. So welcome, dear devotees, to the Sunday Feast lecture today. Thank you so much for making time to come and attend this class. We'll just get started. The topic today is reposing our faith. And we'll get started first with a brief prayer to the spiritual masters. Om Ajnanatimarandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Prabhu, we can go back to the PPT. Can you switch that? Flip that. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I wanted to first start this session here today with acknowledgements. I'd like to acknowledge dear Srila Prabhupada, who translated all these wonderful scriptures into English language, without which I would have never understood a word of what the Shastras say. I'd also like to thank my spiritual master, His Grace Vaisheshika Das Prabhu, for his causeless mercy on me so that I understand the scriptures. I'd also like to thank Srivas Pandit Prabhu, who taught me how to read these scriptures scrutinizingly, going into the details. Otherwise, by the time I had met Srivas Pandit Prabhu, I had read the Bhagavad Gita as it is at least 3 times, and still was not, going to go into the details and catch the gist and the essence of it. I'd also like to thank our schedulers, and especially Gandharvika Mataji, who gave me this opportunity to partake in Krishna Katha and discussions here today. I'd also like to thank Rakesh Prabhu, my husband, sitting at the back, who tolerates me and he adjusts his schedule without any complaints. So thank you so much for that. Now, today's session, I'd like to dedicate this session to Charunamai Prabhu. Maybe we're out of... So today's session, I'd like to dedicate it to my mother-in-law, Shraddha-devi Mataji, who left her body on Diwali day, so on the auspicious Kartik month. I'd like to request you to please pray for the safe journey of the soul. I'd also like to remember on this day, which is November 19th, that 11 years ago, my dear godbrother Rasik Shikhar Prabhu, he also left for his future destination. We still remember him fondly. He was the one who had the Sankirtan, who dedicated his whole home, and we kind of attacked his home, his bedrooms, his garage, all the places in his home, and we stacked them with books. So we fondly remember him every year. So I'd like to dedicate this to him as well. So My question here to you is that we have assembled here today, and so what brings you here to the temple? Why are we here? You're welcome. I'm not doubting that. But my question is, any answers? Anybody? Do we have microphones here in the audience? Yeah? Okay, thank you. Mm. So is it Karthik? Is it because of that we are here?
To gain some spiritual wisdom through the lectures.
You came here to gain some spiritual lectures. That's fantastic. It's on.
I promised myself that I'm going to give my Sundays to Krishna. So I tell myself every morning I have a date with Krishna on Sundays.
What a fantastic way and what a fantastic date. I can guarantee you'll never get a date better than this. A date with Krishna. Fantastic. Anybody else likes to share? Okay, at the back, go ahead.
It's okay. I'm visiting my parents from college, and I'm about to start finals soon when I go back. And so, because it's been so stressful and I've been away for 3 months, I wanted to kind of find some peace and calm myself a little bit. And so I wanted to come here.
Thank you so much. Charan, could you see why the green microphone is not working? The green one over there, yeah. Thank you. And for those of you who are watching us online, Mataji here at the audience said that she's come here to gain some peace because she's a student and leads a very stressful life. So does the stress end after the student life ends? Yeah, I don't have good news for you, Mataji. But anyway, so we come here for various purposes. We have certain goals in life. Maybe we want to have peace. Maybe we want to fulfill our promise that we're going to have a date with Krishna every Sunday. So we have goals that we set in our lives. And then the question is, there are goals and goals that are set for us from office, goals that are we set for ourselves, goals that the family sets for us, and so on and so forth. So what is the best and the highest goal that we have in life? And the highest goal in life is Prema Pumartho Mahan. So Prema Pumartho Mahan, what does that mean? Right? So Mahan is highest, Pumartho is aim of human life. And, it went by very fast, I don't know. This mouse is acting on me today. So Prema is love of Godhead, Pumartho is the aim of human beings, right? Puman is human beings. So the highest goal for a human being is to develop love for Godhead. That's the highest goal that we can have. And we can see Mataji is on the way to that. She's already having date with Krishna. With Krishna, and then of course, to be able to perform devotional service and focus on Krishna, you need to have peace in mind first. So, Mataji at the back. What's your name, Mataji? Juhi. Yeah, so Juhi Mataji at the back is on the way to achieving that. So another name for the word love of Godhead is bhakti. So bhakti is all about love of God. You love God in different ways. And how many different ways can you love God? In 5 ways? Did I hear 5? 7 secondary ways we can love God. Okay, what are those? Microphone? We'll stay with the five primary ones.
The first one is Madhuri Rasa in conjugal relationship, and next one is Vatsalya Rasa in the parental relationship. Third one is Sakya in the relationship of friendship. Fourth one is Dasya, servitorship, and fifth one is Shantarasa.
Shantarasa is awe and reverence. Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause to Prabhu. Okay, so when we do bhakti, there are various ways in which you can do bhakti, various ways in which you can love God. And there are also various levels in which we can do bhakti. Bhakti could be mixed, like I love God, but I have an interior motive for doing that. So the final and the ultimate love of God is when it becomes pure love of God, or when it becomes pure bhakti, right? So in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, pure bhakti is defined as, and you can sing here with me, अन्यभिलाषिता शून्यं ज्ञानकर्माद्यनावृतम् आनुकूल्येन कृष्णानुशीलनं भक्तिरुत्तमा. And it translates to okay. Anya-abhlashita shunyam, and that is that it should not have any desires other than the desire to please Krishna. Anya-abhlasha is desire, right? Anya-abhlashita shunyam, zero. So zero other desires that we have. Gyan karmadyanavritam. Also, it is devoid of the desire to acquire knowledge about God. Raking my brains to find out God, and ultimately I will capture God in my mind. Not like that, right? Jnana karmadi. Karmadi is we are doing certain things to God with the focus on the ultimate result of the activities that we are, and those activities are meant for ourselves, for our enjoyment, like that, right? Anukulyena krishnanu. Anukulyena krishnanu means basically that, for example, when we are doing devotional service, we say you should chant the holy names of the Lord. All the time you should be saying Krishna, 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 right? But here it is saying it should be anukulyena. It should be favorable to Krishna. Whatever you're doing should be favorable to Krishna. After all, Kamsa also said the whole time. He also recited Krishna's name all the time, right? So, where is Krishna? I want to kill him. Where is Krishna? I want to kill him. That's not favorable for Krishna, by the way. Of course, nobody can kill Krishna. That's besides the point. But still, his attitude over there was not favorable to Krishna. And Shilanam Bhaktiruttamam. Shilanam. So, Bhakti Uttamam is the best bhakti, pure bhakti. Shilanam is the hard part, which says that you have to work. So bhakti is pure devotional service to the Lord. It's not just lip service to the Lord. It means that we have to really sit tight and we have to go and work for the Lord, right? So whether it's hot, whether it is cold, you will be in the kitchen, you'll cook for the Lordship, you'll be out, whether it is raining, you'll distribute books, and so on and so forth, like that, right? So we'll be doing some work. So as we progress in devotional service, right? So we'll start and then we'll reach a certain level of devotional service, right? And which should be the highest level of devotional service is the highest aim of human beings, and that is love of God. So as we start with bhakti, the ultimate aim that we keep in mind is to develop pure love of God. And from where does it start, right? So, adau shraddha tatha sadhu sangha tatha bhajana kriya tato nartha anartha nivarti syat Tatho Nishta Ruchistatha. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhulila. So it's going through, there are 9 stages in which you can go, right? Adau Shraddha, in the beginning there is Shraddha, and so on and so forth, right? Then continuing on, it says, Atha Saktis Tatho Bhavas Tatha Prema Bhyudhanchati Sadhakanam Ayam Premna Pradur Bhave Bhavet Kramaha. So Krama means Kram, step by step. So step by step we progress in devotional service by starting with Shraddha. Right? So in the beginning, there must be faith. It's very important. You can't start devotional service without faith. Agree or not agree? All right, good. Then one becomes interested in associating with pure devotees. I was giving a lecture at Mataji's Jagannath Prabhu and Shyam Jagannath Prabhu and Shyama Kumari Mataji's place yesterday, and there was a father who came, who was attending the lecture with his son, and he was saying that, ever since it's evening, my son is saying, "Dad, let's go. Dad, let's go. Dad, let's go." So that's the desire for devotee association. So definitely at a higher level. He already has faith, now he's looking for devotee association. So then one becomes interested in having devotee association. Thereafter, one is initiated by the spiritual master, right? So you'll formalize it, because now you come to the temple, you see people have got a spiritual master, they're getting initiated, they're chanting. So in the association of the devotees, you will try to get their habits and their properties also. So then you'll go and get initiated and execute the regulative principles under his orders. Whatever orders that he gives you, we'll try to follow those orders. Thus, one is freed from all unwanted habits, anartha nivritti, unwanted habits. And I can tell you this, that Shraddha can happen. Maybe some people are born with Shraddha, some people acquire Shraddha, they look at others, they get Shraddha. Devotee association is fine. There's a big attraction. There's prasadam here on Sunday, so you can always get on that, guys. You can still come and have devotee association, right? Initiation, yeah, you can get initiation. At least 1 year, 2 years of chanting. You get a spiritual master. You finish ISKCON disciple course, and so on and so forth. You get initiated, right? After that comes anartha nivriti. Prabhu is laugh smiling. And this is the thing that takes a long time, anartha nivriti, right? And this is giving up the bad habits that we have. And how long does it take? It can take lifetimes, right? Lifetimes after lifetimes. So anartha nivriti, so one is freed from all unwanted habits, and then one gets firmly fixed, nishtha. I have to do it. It's raining, doesn't matter. I have to go to temple, I didn't sleep, doesn't matter. I have to get up at 4, I have come to Mangalarti, and so on and so forth, right? And then one develops a taste. Taste is ruchi. So you develop a taste for doing devotional service, and which is that you want to do it on your own because you like it. You could take a special master is giving you work to do, you'll be like, I'm doing it. Why did he say 16? Right? When Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was there, people used to chant 64 rounds. And then Srila Prabhupada 50 years ago made it 16. Now 50 years have passed. Can they become 8? Right? Why is my spiritual master so strict for me? Like that, right? So that means no taste. Right? When the taste is there, you don't ask those questions. You do it on your own. That's ruchi. You want to do it, right? So then one develops taste and then attachment. Taste is nice, then attachment. Like if somebody wants to tell you not to do it, you're like, no, I'm attached to this. I want to do it all the time. This is the way of sadhana bhakti. So bhakti is also of two types. There is sadhana bhakti where you are practicing, and then there is spontaneous raganuga bhakti. Spontaneously it comes. Nobody has to tell you. No, you don't care. You are just doing bhakti to the Lord, right? And so this is the way you do it. You have to take care of the regulative principles. And then your emotions towards the Lord. And we talked about 5 kinds of, Rohinandan Prabhu gave us 5 types of emotions that you can have for the Lord, right? One emotion can be of awe and reverence, right? That's an emotion. Another emotion is like a friend, like a servant, like a parent, and then like a lover, right? All those emotions are going to get intensified. And then ultimately bhava, and then ultimately they will become prema. Prema is nothing but very, very extremely intensified emotions that you have for Krishna. So today, there are 9 steps of devotional service, but today we are going to focus only on one, and that is Shraddha. This has a mind of its own. It moves by itself. Or like the mind, right? So, there is faith. Do you think there is faith? Do you think you all have faith, some sort of a faith in life? You have faith in real life? Okay, I saw one hand raised, so that's good. That's a good percentage. Well, the very fact that you're here means that you have faith. We also have faith in our day-to-day lives, right? So let's look at some of the faith that you have in our day-to-day life. Keeping Krishna aside. By the way, he's looking so beautiful today. The altar, the beautiful dress, beautiful garland, it's just amazing, out of the world. Okay, so faith in day-to-day life, people take life insurance, right? You have faith in that? What is that faith there? Sorry, go ahead.
The company won't go bankrupt and they will pay.
The company won't go bankrupt. Correct. Yeah. So we have faith that when I need the money, they will give me, and for life insurance, right? And then, of course, similarly, there's medical insurance, right? The medical insurance, we have faith? 100%? Deductible? My faith is that, when I really need it, when I really need the money for my medical expenses, they won't come and, go back on their words. They will cover my medical expenses, and I will, I'll continue to pay them money with that understanding. So there's medical insurance, right? Do you have faith in the alarm clock? No, Mataji. When you set the alarm in the night, right, and go to sleep peacefully, you're having a faith that it will wake you up at that time, right? So we put faith in our lives. Do you put faith in the doctors? Right? A lot, isn't it? So there are different kinds of faith that people have, right? People have faith in witchcraft, right? They do that. So when somebody is sick, that faith that one has in witchcrafts is a person is sick because some evil spirits are doing something to that person. That's the faith people have, right? Different types of people have different kinds of faiths. It's a free country, right? Then there is homeopathy. Some people say, I don't take homeopathy. Some say, no, homeopathy is the only good thing to do, right? So homeopathy, the system of medication is dependent on that it believes that there are certain, the body can heal itself. That's the premise on which homeopathy is based, right? And there are some herbs, etc., they'll just aid in the process. So that's what homeopathy is, Lord. And there are controversies on that as well. Right? Ayurvedic system. The Ayurvedic system has a very different faith, right? It's things, or the Ayurvedic system is based on that there are 3 elements in the body, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. They should be balanced. And whenever there is an imbalance in the 3, then that leads to some kind of medicine. So I'm going to give you medicines which will take care of any of the doshas that you have, right? So in the Ayurvedic system, is just taking medicine enough, or is there any other angle to Ayurveda also? Sorry? Diet restrictions? Okay, painful. What else is there? What else is done in Ayurveda? It's slow. It's a slow process. Right? In Ayurveda, just taking medicine is not enough. They also recommend that before you take the medicine, what do? You take the name of Lord Vishnu. That is the faith. That, their medicines is there, that's fine. But unless Vishnu's sanction is there on you, you're not going to get healed. So that's a higher level of faith, you're having faith in Krishna. Like that, right? So, whatever are the different kinds of faiths that you have, people will act accordingly. Right? In the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, yanti deva vrata devan pitrin yanti prativita bhutani yanti bhuteja. So there are people who have different kinds of faith, right? Bhutani yanti, people have faith in human beings, people have faith in spirits and the ancestors, demigods, and some have faith in Krishna, right? So people have different kinds of faith, and they will act according to their faith. Right? You had some faith here in Prabhupada, you had some faith in Krishna. That's why you drove and you're here. Like that. So, Shraddha or faith, people will act according to that. So I've got a story that I'll tell you. So once there was a village, and it did not have any rains. And villages from India, villages in India are, of course here also, they are agriculture based. They depend on agriculture to survive. And so there were no rains, the crops were there, the crops completely dried. And then the wise people in the village, get together to see, let's see what's happening. Why is it we are in this state of affairs? And they concluded that, okay, maybe we have displeased the demigods, the one who gives us especially the one who gives us the rains. Who gives us the rains? Indra, right? So let's do a yagya. So it was scorching hot, middle of the day, that's when the muhurt came, no sign of clouds in the sky. And people were all assembled here and they were getting ready for the yagya to start. And then in walked a small boy, and guess what was he carrying? An umbrella, right? And that's when everybody realized, oops, we never brought an umbrella with us. So that is the faith. The little boy had the faith that we are going to perform this yagya and we will have rains. So if we are going to have rains, you act accordingly. Why did you not bring the umbrella? Right? So faith makes you act. So this was a very gross way of acting. Right? You take an umbrella, everybody sees you carrying an umbrella. But faith can also act on you in very subtle ways. Right? For example, you are sick and you don't believe that you're going to get better. What's going to happen? Will you get better? Right? So faith plays a very, very strong role in our lives. And in this case, the body is acting according to the faith. No matter what the doctors do, if you have given up hope, then nobody can save you. That, right? So Shraddha in Sanskrit means faith, Shrad means heart, and Dha means to place. So wherever you place your heart, and Mataji's heart is in Krishna, so that is Shraddha. So in the core of your heart, right? In the core of your heart, what you believed, whatever you believe is going to make happy, you're going to do that. My Shraddha is in watching the World Cup. That's what everybody is doing, right? My Shraddha is in racing cars. My Shraddha is making money. My Shraddha is making software. My Shraddha is becoming vice president. I could have different kinds of Shraddhas. I want to distribute 1 million copies of Bhagavad Gita. That is Gautama Karna Prabhu's desire. So that's wherever you are, wherever your faith is, that's what you're going to do that, right? So basically, Shrad is heart and Dha is to place it. Wherever you place your heart, that is where your faith is going to be, right? So, let's look at the word faith from the Oxford Dictionary. So it says complete trust or confidence in someone or something. Okay, complete trust or confidence. So we talked about some of the areas where we can have confidence, right? Life insurance, medical, home insurance, right? And then we also had a little fine print which said, if the company doesn't go bankrupt, I've got that, that kind of insurance, right? And then they gave the example, and they said this restore, and they gave an example of how you use the word faith in a sentence, and it said, this restores one's faith in politicians. And I was suddenly reminded of Chanakya. He said, never have faith in politicians. So anyway, so it is, other words that are used in place of faith are trust, belief, confidence, conviction, credence, and reliance. These are the words that we also use. Then they have more meanings on faith. This was just one of the meanings of the word faith. Then they also went transcendental. And they said faith is strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof. This is very, very important. Faith doesn't go for proofs. Faith is not going to ask you for proofs. Like somebody once asked Srila Prabhupada, can you show me God? You're talking about Krishna. You're talking so much about God. Can you show me God? And Srila Prabhupada, who's very good at giving answers, he said, do you have eyes to see him? Right? So faith has got that kind of eyes, that you see there. So it won't ask for any kind of proofs. The conviction comes from within yourself. That's faith. Right? Bereaved people have shown supreme faith. And that's true, right? Smashan. When somebody dies, we think a lot more about God than we do in our day-to-day lives. So then the question is, if Shraddha means heart and to place the heart, then the question is, where should I place my heart? Right? So let's see. Before you can decide where you're going to place your heart, okay, you have to consult. For example, when you go and buy a house, you go and consult people. Is Pleasanton better? Should I move to Mountain House? Should I stay here deep in the valley, Santa Clara? Should I buy close to Mountain View? What should I do? Right? So you consult. So similarly in this matter, which is the highest goal of your life, right? And you're saying, okay, Pema Pumartha Mahan, that's my biggest goal. I have to develop love for God. My first question is there God or not? Right? The doubt can come. So faith and God and doubt kind of live together. So we have to consult. And when we have to consult, there are three. So Vaisheshika Prabhu says, always triangulate. Triangle, there are three parts of the three angles of the triangle, and of each of the three parts we have got three words there, right? So there has to be Guru, you have to consult the Guru, you have to consult the Sadhu, and you have to consult the Shastra. Okay? So the Guru, you are watching a Guru, somebody who's your teacher, somebody is spiritual master, he's teaching you certain things. But then how do I have faith in my spiritual master? How do I know that whatever he's saying is the right thing or not? Right? So then you will look around at other sadhus, are the other sadhus also doing the same thing? Right? If the other sadhus are also doing the same thing, then that's good. But that's not enough. Both the guru and the sadhu should be following whatever is written in the Shastras. That's extremely important. So you cannot have a guru who just speaks things off, who doesn't have a lineage. We don't know from where the guru came. He suddenly dropped from the heavens and he was giving you philosophy. That's not the way, right? He should have some philosophy. We should have some books to back us up, right? We should have commentaries on the Shastras like that, right? So guru, sadhu and Shastra. These three should be the eyes. This should be eyes with which you seek information and then you make your well-informed decisions. If any of these three are out of sync, then don't do it. When you are in doubt, don't. Right? For example, if there's a medicine and there's a doubt whether this is a tablet and whether there's a doubt whether it is it medicine or is it poison? What are you going to do? Are you going to eat it? No, right? So when you're in doubt, you don't do it. Okay? There's only one place where they say, when you are in doubt, do it. Right? And that is when you are in doubt whether God is there or not and whether I should do devotional service or not, do it. Right? And why? This is a very famous thing. It's known as Pascal's wager, Pascal's bet. And why do we say that? And the reason is that there are two outcomes that we can get, right? Either there is God or there is no God, right? Now, suppose you did devotional service your whole life, and in the end you find there is no God, no harm, right? On the other hand, if you said that, I don't believe there is God, I don't do any devotional service, and in the end, after you die, you realize there is God, then you are in soup, right? So, whether you believe there's God, whether you don't believe there's God, doing devotional service is always the right thing to do. Accidentally, purposefully, intentionally, whichever way we do, it's a good thing, right? So we have this verse from the first canto, 7th chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the area where Vyas-deva has written his books, a lot of books. How many books did he write? Starting from? Sorry? Microphone, please, yeah.
4 Vedas.
He wrote the 4 Vedas, right? He was documenting them, right? And why was he documenting them? Because it was, Kali Yuga was approaching and he wanted to do something. He felt compassion for the souls that are going to arrive during Kali Yuga. And so he said, let me document that because they will have very short memory. They won't have any time. They'll always be disturbed, right? So he said, okay, let me document that. Okay, so Vedas was one. What else did he do?
Mahabharat.
He wrote Mahabharat. Inside the Mahabharat, what did he write?
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita, right? And what about the executive summary? Too long, did not read. TLDR on the Vedas. What are the TLDRs on the Vedas? Vedanta Sutras, right? He also wrote the Vedanta Sutras, and he wrote the commentary on all of that. Now, after writing all that, he felt very miserable. So he said that, okay, what did I do? Right? And then he was sitting melancholy, and then his spiritual master comes, Narad Muni, and then he scolds him at doing, what have you done? You have not documented the Vedas, but you have not properly talked about the Vedas. So, then Narad explains his own story about how he came into Krishna consciousness. And we all know the story that he was serving during these months only, right? This Chaturmasya, he was serving some very exalted devotees, right? So then there he says, Anartho pashanam shakshad bhakti yogam madhokshaje lokasya janato vidvam chakre samvat samhitam. So he says the material miseries of the living entity, which are superfluous to him, can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. So here was Veda Vyas. He had faith in the Vedas. He had faith in the processes of yajnas in the Vedas. And so he had his faith there, and he said, okay, let me document all that so the others are going to help, right? Okay, Mataji, can we have the conversation outside? It's slightly disturbing. I lose my thought process. Sorry about that. So he had faith that the Vedas are going to help the people. But then here, Narad Muni is completely negating that. And he's saying that, all the miseries that are going to happen, by the way, they are superfluous. They don't impact the soul. They're superfluous to you. But then also, even if you accept them as yours, they can be mitigated by the devotional service. Right? So that was Narada's faith in devotional service. But he says, most of people do not know that. A lot of people do not know that our miseries are going to vanish if we surrender to Krishna, right? And therefore, the learned Vedavyas compiled this Vedic literature, which is in relation to the supreme truth, right? So after Vedavyas listens to his spiritual master, and Mr. Master says that, what you are teaching them is, people will just go up to higher planets, consume their credits, and then come down, go up, come down, go up. That's what they're going to do, right? So you sit down and you focus and you meditate on Krishna and then come and write. So he did that. And in his meditation, he sees Maya completely under control of Krishna. And then he says, oh, what was I doing trying to appease Maya? It's better we please Krishna. And that's when Srimad Bhagavatam was born, right? And then here it's being narrated that this Vedavyas compiled this literature which is in relation to the supreme truth, right? So these are the scriptures. The scriptures are in relationship with the absolute and the supreme truth. And that is what we should be doing. If we are reposing our faith, if we are putting our faith on something, we should not put our faith on something which is false. Right? We should put our faith in something which is true. And we should put our faith on something that is the absolute truth. That's never going to change. Right? Always remain the same. There's nothing beyond that. That's the absolute truth. So we should be doing that, right? So when we look at our scripture, so we looked at Oxford Dictionary, and we saw meaning of that from Oxford Dictionary, and which kind of said that, okay, if politicians do this, then you can have faith on them. Now let's see what our scriptures are telling us. The scriptures are saying, Shraddha shabde vishwas kahe sutrida nishchoy Krishna bhakti koila sarva karma krita hoy. Right? And what does that mean? Shraddha is a confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental service to Krishna, one automatically performs all the subsidiary activities. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. Right? So when we are reading what is pure devotional service, we said, Anukulyena Krishnanu. Right? It's favorable to Krishna. And here we are saying, this type of faith that we are having is favorable, anukulyena, to our bhakti, right? To our devotional service, to the discharge of the devotional service. So it's a firm faith. True Shraddha is a firm faith, right? Firm, and it's firm conviction, it's confident that this is going to happen. And what? That I render loving devotional service to Lord Krishna. If I do that, then all the other subsidiary activities that I do, they are taken care of. Now that is a very big leap of faith, especially those of us who are coming from India. Sometimes I feel that when Prabhupada came here to USA and he preached to the masses, to the devotees here in USA who had no background about Krishna, it was a little simple in the sense that there was only Krishna to present. But if you are coming from India where you know about the 31 crore demigods that are there, that's a little difficult, and you come from the cultural momentum that, this Devi and that Devi and Kuteti Devi and Narangi Devi, like that, all these kinds of Devis are there, and people are praying to them thinking they are God. Ganesha is God, Vishnu, Indra is God, not knowing the difference between God and demigod. It becomes a little difficult for us to first untie the knots which are there in our, in our mind, and then to focus and then to say that, oh, if I do devotional service to Krishna, that's all that I need. And all the subsidiary activities that you do will be taken care of if you just do this. And here in the Kali Yuga, it's even more simplified, right? Because when you come to do devotional service to Krishna, there are also so many things that you can do for Krishna also. And here they have just taken the and the crux, and they have said there's only one thing that you do. And what is that one thing? chant the holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Right? So I should have the confident and the firm faith that if I'm chanting the holy names of the Lord, if I'm chanting just this one mantra is going to take me back to Godhead. No thinking about okay, I'm not doing the Gayatri mantras. Okay, what about Om Triambakam? I'm not doing that. Oh, what about Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva? Dhruv did that and he attained, but Dhruv was in Satyuga, right? We are here in Kali Yuga, and for every yuga that we are there are certain prescriptions to be taken. And the prescription for this yuga is to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So we just follow that, right? Like that. So you need to have a firm, confident faith that all the subsidiary activities need not be indulged into. Just stay focused, razor sharp focus there, right? Because bhakti is about walking on a razor blade like that, If you go this way or that way, then you plunge down into the material world again, right? So the faith that we have, right? So what was faith? Where you place your heart. Right? Shraddha is place your heart. Okay? So faith can change. Did your faith ever change? Not faith on Krishna, but material faith. faith from one doctor to another doctor, right? Somebody recommended a doctor way and you went there. 6 months later, nothing happens. You're like, oh no, I don't think so. So faith can change with life and with time. So one of my managers, is a very wonderful manager, she once told me that there are 2 days when you are happy. So just you're generally philosophizing in life. The 2 days when you're happy. What do you think are the 2 days you're happy? Day of joining ISKCON? Day of joining any organization. Oh yes. That's one day you're happy. And what's the other day? Shadi, did I hear that? Salary. Okay, the salary day is an important day. Yeah. Actually, this is so funny because nowadays I'm just focused on going to the work to just make the money to keep body and soul together. Nothing beyond that. So when I face very troublesome people or very difficult people in my job, I have my other. I hope nobody from my office is watching this. I have this computer on this side while I'm working on my office computer. So I'll just go there, open my bank balance and say, hey, the salary came just last Friday. So you just grin and bear it. 2 more years. Yeah, salary makes you happy, right? So the 2 days, what she said was very different and very interesting. So what she said was that the 2 days when you're happy are the day you buy your boat. Right? Now, I know you guys are not interested in all that. I mean, for you, fine, a Tesla might be the boat. But the day you buy the boat is the happiest day of your life. Right? You got the boat. You've got plans. There's a river by, there's a lake. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. There's so many things you're going to do with the boat. So that's the day that you are happy. And then the second day that you are happy is the day you sell it. Right? So that is the sad story of material world. So what changed? The boat, at least to me, looks the same in the 2 pictures, right? The day you bought the boat, the day you sell it. What changed? Why are we happy doing 2 stark opposite things? Buying the boat or selling it are 2 opposite things, you agree? Then why are we happy? One should have made us happy, one should have made us sad. Sorry?
You're done with using that.
You're done with it. So when you're done using it, go ahead, take the microphone. When you're done using it, what has changed?
So it's fluctuations of mind.
There are fluctuations of the mind. Yes, the mind fluctuates, right? And in this case, what is this fluctuation? What is the mind thinking on day 1 and the day you sell the boat? I think I saw a microphone there.
Yeah. You're looking for happiness and you thought you will get it, but through the journey you realized you're getting more stressed.
How can a boat give you stress? Does the boat give you stress? Can a boat give you stress? It can, yeah, okay. What are the ways in which it can give you stress?
I mean, the waves of the river, the ocean, the maintenance, fuel, strength.
Yes,
so
yes,
many
all
things.
that, right? Your own body, yeah, like that, yeah. So what had changed? Remember, why did we buy the board in the first place? Because we saw some utility. We saw that there'll be some enjoyment that we'll get, and that's what we are. Mame vancho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. Right? We are parts and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, so we want to also enjoy. We will enjoy because we are part of it. The tendency to enjoyment is actually coming from Krishna. Right? So we want to enjoy. So there was a hope, there was a faith that if I make this investment, how much does a boat cost these days? I don't know. I've never bought a boat. 30,000, 40,000, I don't know how many dollars, $1,000. But anyway, the idea was that if I invest this much of money here, the faith was that I'm going to get some enjoyment out of this. And then fuel and maintenance and the waves and the sunburn and all that kind of caught up on you. So now it's like, I don't think that's going to give me pleasure. I don't think it's giving me pleasure there. So your faith in the boat changed, right? First, the faith was that this is an object that gives me happiness. It changed to an object that gives you grief, right? So your faith can also change with your enlightenment. In this case, the enlightenment was that I'm not getting any happiness out of that, right? So the day you sell your boat is also the day. So the faith changes, and this faith that we have is actually of two types. Types of Shraddha is types of faith, right? The first one is Swabhaviki. It's very natural faith, right? For example, a child has faith on his mother. It's a very natural thing. The child didn't read any scriptures. The child didn't, nobody was told the child that, this one is your mom, and then, she's going to take care of you like that. Nobody tells them. Can somebody move that box which is on the stairs? And Mataji, there's some devotees who are standing. If you like to sit, you can sit there. Thank you. Yeah. So, so Swabhaviki is very, very natural. Natural faith. Okay? And I'm not talking just about faith in God. This is just a natural faith in our day-to-day mundane activities. There's some faith that is there, right? It comes naturally. And the second is balotpadika, by some external force. Something from external environment is coming, and that is, giving you the faith that is required to be done, to be had, right? So Swabhaviki, natural faith, I gave the example of faith a child has for the mother. But there is natural Swabhaviki faith for the Lord also. Some kids are born with that, right? Prahlad Maharaj. Right? Prahlad Maharaj was there. But then, when he was born, it was a Swabhaviki thing. But when he was inside the womb of his mother, there was some external force that was telling him. And what was that external force? Narad Muni, right? So when you get something from the external environment, that Shraddha is balotpadika. Bal means force. Like that here. Then there are stages of Shraddha, right? Faith can go through various stages. So let's look at the stages of Shraddha. So here, there's an example, there's a story here from our Shastras. So there was, of course, there's Narad Muni, our spokesperson, and he goes from planet to planet, and of course he can even go to Vaikuntha, he has got that benediction. And so he came here to this earth planet, and he met a couple of devotees. One of them was a well-known and a renowned devotee. He used to sit and meditate He had given up everything. He was just, sitting in one lonely corner of the forest. He hardly had any clothes. He just had a little gamcha. Come winter, come summer, nothing could, bother him. He was just focused on, I want to go back to Godhead. I want to go back to Godhead. I want to go back to Vishnu. I want to go back to... That was his, ardent desire in his heart. That's what he wanted to do. And on the other hand, there was this cobbler. The cobbler, who's a cobbler? Kids? Might not have seen cobblers here in USA. So...
someone who makes shoes?
Yes, someone who makes or mends the shoes, yeah. Right, so in India you find cobblers sitting by the roadside and they are poor people, usually they don't earn much and they mend the shoes. And so he was also there. He would never, he was not meditating or anything like that. He was busy sewing the shoes and mending them the whole day. He didn't even have time to chant japa and things like that. But every now and then he would take the name of the Lord, Hari, right? And end of the day he would say, oh Lord, thank you for protecting me, so on and so forth. So Narad Muni on his, sojourn to this material planet, he went and he met both of them. So, to the first one, the ascetic, Narad Muni went and he said, oh, how are you? The ascetic said, how are you, Narad Muni? Pranams, Dandavat pranams to you. And where are you headed? So he said, well, I'm going to Vaikuntha to meet Vishnu. Said, oh, you're going to Vaikuntha to meet Vishnu? Can you please ask him, like, what do I want to ask? What do you want? Can you please ask him that when am I going to get back to Godhead? When am I going to go to the Vaikuntha planets there? So he said, okay, I will do that. And then he went to, on the way he met the cobbler. So then the cobbler also said, hey, Hare Krishna, where are you headed to, Narad Muni? So Narad Muni said, oh, I'm going to Vaikuntha. So he said, oh, wow, you're lucky. Say my pranams to Vishnu. So Narad said, yes, and is there anything else that you want to ask him? So he said, yeah, I don't know, I'm such a, low cobbler, I don't have any skills, and I was just curious to know, when will I go back to Godhead or ever reach and go back to Godhead, reach that stage where I'll be able to do that. So Narad said, yeah, I'll do. So Narad goes to Vaikuntha and he meets Vishnu, and Vishnu is, lying there, and so they have the chit-chat, and then Narad, he's gone to other planets also. There's a whole big agenda that Narad has, he's telling about this, that, and all that, and then he comes to this planet and about these two people. And so then Vishnu said, okay, so what about them? So Vishnu tells about both, and they said, okay. So then Vishnu says, okay, I'll whisper it in your ears, right? I'll tell you the answer. Both are asking this, and you tell them this. So Narad Muni is listening. And what he hears in his ears, he's like, okay. Anyway, Vishnu is saying, I'll do it. So he goes down, and as soon as he goes down, the ascetic sees him from a distance. He starts running towards him like, hey, you got the answer, you got the answer. So he said, yeah, I've got the answer. And so tell me the answer. He said, yeah, let me relax, sit down, relax, fine, I'll tell you. So then the ascetic realizes that, he's just jumped answering the question for himself. He didn't even ask what was Vishnu doing, how is Vishnu. He should have normally asked all that as a matter of etiquette, right? He's completely forgotten that because he was focused on himself. So he then says, okay, so how is Vishnu and what was he doing? So then Narad Muni says, well, Vishnu is fine. And he was actually, I saw him, he had a needle in his hand and he was pushing an elephant through the eye of the needle. And then this ascetic, just said, please don't kid with me. I have serious things to do. I don't believe in all these kind of stuff. But tell me the answer, the reason why you went there. Am I going back to Godhead or not? So he said, yeah, you're going to go back to Godhead. He said, when? So he said, well, it's going to take you at least 2 million more births. So that time he got very, very angry. I said, 2 million births? Look at me. I hardly eat anything. I hardly do anything. I hardly have a family. All that I'm doing here is I'm sitting here and meditating, and look at this. This is my gamcha, the only cloth that I had. And suddenly a gust of wind came and his gamcha was also blown away. So then Narad Muni went, to the cobbler. And the cobbler said, oh, you have returned from the Vaikuntha Dham. Let me touch your holy feet. Just come from the abode of Vishnu. Let me go and get you some water and tell me how's Vishnu, how are things in Vaikuntha, tell me about Vaikuntha and all that. So he then said that, well, yeah, Vishnu's fine, and Vishnu was relaxing on a chair, and then he had this needle, and through that needle he was, putting an elephant through the eye of the needle, and the elephant passed. And so the cobbler said, yeah, that's quite possible. After all, in a banyan seed, if Krishna is able to pack a whole banyan tree, and many, many more banyan trees that are going to come in the future out of that one, if he can pack things to that extent in one little seed, why can't Vishnu not pass an elephant through the eye of a needle? That is faith. That is the kind of faith that we should aim for. That when we are talking about Krishna, there should not be any doubts. Right? In the second chapter, Divinity and Divine Service, it says, Bhidyate hirdaya granthis chidyante sarva samshaya chiyante chasya karmani drishta evad manishwari. Right? So Bhidyate hirdaya granthis, whatever knots are there in our heart, they go away. Right? And the knots could be knots of material knots, knots of attachment, and this could also be doubts which are there in our hearts. Right? Those doubts also go away as you progress in devotional service. So look at the cobbler at such a height of devotional service he was, although apparently you don't see that. Apparently it looks like he's just a cobbler. Once or twice he's doing it. I'm chanting 16 rounds, which calculates to 25,000 names of the Lord. What is he doing? What are his qualifications where he'll go or not? But he had faith. And remember, faith is the first step in devotional service. So that person was meditating, doing all kind of things, but he didn't have faith in Krishna. So his progress, his stage of devotional service was very low. He was first stage and not even reached the first stage properly. So then the cobbler asked that, okay, so what did Krishna... So he's very happy, he's chanting and all that, and then Narad Muni says, okay, so wouldn't you ask that question that you want, answer to the question you wanted to know? So he said, oh yeah, tell me. So when am I going to go back to Godhead? And so Vishnu from Vaikuntha is watching all this, right? All these conversations that are going on. And so he said, when am I going to go back to Godhead? So he said, okay, you are sitting underneath this tamarind tree. And those of you who have seen a tamarind tree, the leaves are very, very small, and right? And there are many, many leaves there. So he said, well, when all the leaves of this tamarind tree fall down, and you count them, when all of them are going to fall down, then you are going to go back to Godhead. So he looks up at the tree and he says, okay, every year some of them are going to fall. And then he turns to Narada and says, I'm so happy, at least my date has been decided. Right? So look at the difference in approach the two of them had to the same answer and to the same question or to the same situation that Vishnu was driving an elephant to the eye of a needle. So that's faith. And that's just to end that story on a happy note. Then suddenly there was a wave of wind that came, and all the leaves of the tamarind tree fell down, right? So a cobbler went back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Then, so faith is there. You saw an example of faith. Then the question here is that, why should I have faith? I mean, we saw the story, right? We know the results of that, right? But as we have faith in Krishna, how does it help us in our sojourn in life? Right? So let's look at that. Fear. How many of you ever have experienced fear? 5, 6 people? 10, 12, 15, 20. Okay, I see the hands raising up. Right? All of us are afraid of one thing or the other. Right? What is the biggest fear? There was a survey conducted in America, and they were finding rates. They gave you 5 or 6 options, and which are you afraid of the most, right? And do you know what was the topmost fear in USA? Any guesses? Huh? Death? Loneliness? Losing job? All those were listed there, but the biggest there was fear of public speaking. Like that, right? So fear paralyzes. I can tell you that. I'm speaking to public. And so that's the days when I, really feel happy that I'm wearing a sari because you can't see the legs shake. So fear paralyzes. Paralyzes. You're completely incapable of doing anything, right? And fear is so strong, right? And we see, who are those two in the picture there? There's Arjun, right? Arjun the mighty, the Mahabaho, right? The mighty, mighty warrior, a well-renowned warrior. And he's there and he very nonchalantly tells his friend, Drishvayam Swajanam Krishnam, right? He says, no, Ratham Sthape me Uchuta. He says, I want to see who has come here to fight, right? And then Achyuta slowly takes the chariot because he has a plan. He drives it right in the middle of the two armies. And then Arjuna comes and starts, looks at that and sees great, and he says, okay, look at the Kurus. And then he sees the Kurus, and who's the first Kuru? He sees his own grandfather, Bhishma, right? Bhishma-dev. So he's like, oh my goodness, have I come to fight these people? And then he starts lamenting, right? Drisvayam, Swajanam, Krishna, Yuyutsam, right? I can see my Swajan are there. How can I fight them? How can I do this? Papa meva shretasvet. I'm going to get sin. I can't do that. So it was not the fear. In Arjuna's mind, the fear was not that there are 9 Akshohini armies over there and we have only 2 and grandfather Bhishma is so powerful. How am I going to fight them? That was not the fear in Arjuna's mind. He had a very different kind of a fear. Right? His fear was of doing the wrong thing. Right? And it paralyzed him, right? Gandivam samsrate hastva. Gandivam, my Gandiv bow is falling from my hand. My hands are shaking, falling. And what did he do? He went to the back of the Rath and he sat down. Something very uncharacteristic of a warrior, right? The Kshatriyas, when the war is there, they're all ready to go fight, they're standing, they want to kill, right? Like that. So fear is going to paralyze you. But then faith energizes you. Right? And in life there will be so many situations that will come where we will be afraid. Right? At that time, if we don't have faith that there is something superior that can help me. Right? I remember when my daughter was small, we lived in a colony, and in Indian colonies, there are houses all along, and in the middle there's a playground, so everybody comes and plays there so that parents can also see what's happening to the kids. So I was watching from my balcony or patio of my home that they're talking, and she was the smallest among all the kids of that area. And so they used to, sometimes the kids would beat her also because she was small, right? They would beat her, all that. So she could not beat them back because they were bigger than her. So I saw that she was crying. And then she said, I've got my brother, Danny. He's 6 feet tall. He will see to you. So that, that faith that my brother is going to come. My brother is going to take care. My brother is going to one day, come and kick you. You are beating me right now. Like that. So that faith that you have helps you in the time, and times are tough and you are paralyzed due to fear. Like that. Faith is also crucial in moments of disappointment. And this is a very, very interesting and a very powerful observation. That when we have disappointments, did anybody have disappointments in life? Would you like to share your disappointments? No? Completely private? You want to share, Srisha Mataji? Go ahead. Sriji Priya Mataji. She's bold. She has faith.
Unexpectedly, we lost someone which is very dear and very...
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. The faith was completely devastated, actually. There is no faith for some time. By Krishna's mercy, again.
It came back.
Yeah.
Hold on to the thought and we'll talk about why did it come back. Yeah, but let me pray for your dear departed. So, in the moment of disappointment, faith is very, very crucial to have that. And then list the point, right? Faith is rooted in the belief. What is the root? What is the foundation for faith? What is this faith thinking? It says that there is a divine force. There's a divine force that oversees everything that is happening in this material world. That faith, right? And it opens our mind to the possibility that whatever setbacks that I'm having in my life, they could be part of a bigger plan that I don't see at this time. Right? That is what faith is going to get you. And once you have that thought process going on, then it becomes much more easy for you to handle that situation. That's why faith becomes so much more crucial. Right? Otherwise, we'll just be thinking that why do bad things happen to good people? Right? Prabhupada takes sannyas, and the very next day he's gored. A few days later or next day, I don't remember, he's gored by a bull. What exactly is that? I surrendered everything to you, Krishna. You are supposed to be my protector, and look at this bull. Innocent man, this happens to me. Right? Like that. The people can think like that. Right? So when bad things happen in our lives, we have to change our attitude towards how we handle that situation. One way of handling that situation is to look at the cause of that situation. Why did he die? Or why did my mother have to die when I was so young? Or things like that. So you're looking at the cause. And you will not find a cause. Why we will not find a cause? Because the cause could be coming from the previous birth. Right? When after the Mahabharata, Dhritarashtra asked Krishna, right? He said that, why were my 100 sons killed? What did I do? I am a blind man. What did I do in this life to deserve such a misery? And then Krishna said that, 50 births ago, there were some birds and you poked and you killed them. And you also poked their eyes. That's why you are blind. And there were 100 birds and you killed all of them. That's why you had 100 sons and they all died. So he's looking at the cause for that, right? And the cause was given to him. And then of course the question was that, so why did it take me 50 birds? I killed somebody, why did I not get, my sons killed the very next birth? And then Krishna said that it took you 50 births to gather the sukriti that needs to be gathered to get sons. Right? Not everybody gets not everybody can get a son, and especially in that yuga like that. Right? So he's looking at the cause, finding out the cause. And when he found out that cause, what could he do about it? Nothing, right? Except now to lament more, like, oh, if I had not done this, then I would not have been suffering this like that. So this is a cause, he's looking at the cause, right? But the other way of looking at this, and especially when bad things happen to good people, life seems to be so illogical. At least in the case of Dhritarashtra, we are fine. None of us likes him, so, we fine. If bad things are happening to him, we are okay. We just turn our face away. But a real bhakta even does not do that. A real bhakta like Vidur, right? Vidur, even after being insulted by Dhritarashtra's son, Duryodhan, he still goes back to the palace and tells him that, what are you doing living in the house of your enemy like a dog? Leave this and go away, right? So extreme of devotees like Vidura will do that, right? But generally people don't care. Whatever happened, whatever happened like that. The other way of looking at life, which is saying that instead of saying it is illogical, you look at it as a teleological. Teleological basically means that when you are analyzing a phenomena, you are analyzing an occurrence, when you are analyzing an event in your life, then you analyze it not from the cause perspective. What was the cause? Why is this happening to me? Instead of that, you look at what is the end results that are going to get because of this circumstance that has come in my life. What is that final result, the final goal towards which I am being propelled through this happenstance in my life? That's a very different way of looking at things. And then, of course, bhaktas, when anything bad goes in their heart, in their lives, what do they say? The very famous words from Bhagavatam. Brahmaji says that. I'm giving hints. Okay, give it to me on a microphone, please.
Tatenukampam shushumikshamanam bhunjana evatmakritam vipakam hridbhag papurbhirvidadam namaste jive taya mukti pade sadebhag.
Bhag. Thank you so much, right? And would you like to give the translation also for that? Like a summary, just?
Yes, so when anything wrong happens, we await Lord's mercy, Tate Anukampa Shushumukshamanam. And with Hridbhag Bapurvir, we thank the Lord for the opportunity to purify us.
For purifying ourselves, right? So what a devotee thinks, because devotee has got so much of faith in the Lord. He knows that the Lord is my friend. Sruhid sarva bhutanam, gyatma mam shantim richiti. He knows the Lord is my friend. So a friend will never harm you. A friend will actually try to do something which is opposite of harm. The friend will try to help you, right? So when bad things come into the life of a devotee, the devotee is saying, I actually deserved worse than this, right? I deserve worse from this, but because you are the Lord and you own everything and you are the judge of this entire universe, you have diluted the sentence that I was supposed to get. Right? This is your anukampa. This is your mercy. Tattenukampa. This is your mercy. I deserved worse. And then he continues to glorify using his hrid, vak, vapubhir, right? His heart, his body, his soul, mind, everything is used that to glorify the Lord. Right? So he's not looking at the cause. He's just looking at the results. Like, okay, Lord wanted to lower the sentence. So I've got this, but it's much, much reduced sentence. I was supposed to go for a much worse scenario and much worse situation there, right? Then embracing faith prevents our minds from closing in despair, allowing for positivity and purpose even in the face of adversity, right? You see, there's a purpose. Anything that happens, there is a purpose, right? And for example, there was a story of a king who had a minister, and he was very close to that minister. Whatever they did, they would always do that together. And so one day, the king was standing by his window of his palace, and it was a very nice breeze. It was a beautiful night. The beautiful flowers were growing. Good smell was coming, and the king was just, enjoying the breeze. And suddenly, the intensity of the breeze became a little bit more, and the door of the window shut. And the king was standing with his hands on the windowsill. So the door came and knocked off his fingers. His finger was gone. So he was feeling very bad. After all, he's the king, right? And he's supposed to look beautiful. He doesn't have a finger. So he met the minister the next day. Of course, the physician came and all that was done. But he met the minister the next day, and he told the minister that, this happened to me. And the minister said, oh, everything happens for our good. God does everything for our good. Krishna will never do anything bad for you. He does everything. Now, the king was feeling bad. The finger was lost. The finger was still hurting. There were no, high-potency painkillers at that time. So he's hurting. And now this minister is telling me everything happens is for the good. So he says, he's very, very angry. He says, put him into the jail. Throw him into the darkest, dampest dungeon that we have in this fort. So his people came. They threw him in the dungeon. And 1 month passed, 2 months passed, 3 months passed. Now these kings, these are Kshatriyas, and they are supposed to protect, right? They're supposed to protect. They go out, they have wars. They're supposed to expand their territories. So then they should be in practice on how to fight. So that's why they will all go to the forest and they will practice. They'll kill some ferocious animals. And that is two purposes. One is that the skill remains sharp. And the second is that those devotees who are doing devotional service in the forest, they are also protected from the wild animals. So it's dual purpose. So they used to go and do that. So one day the king went there. And he was with his whole entourage. They were going this and there. And then there was a deer. And the king started chasing the deer. It was a very beautiful one. He wanted to kill it. And the deer dodged, and got out of sight. And by the time the king realized that, that it's futile now to go and find this deer, then he realized that he's left all his entourage behind. He's in the middle of the forest, nowhere. And then he said, okay, let me walk a little bit. Let me find a village. I'll go there, find my way back. Somebody will bring back or something like that. So he walks, he's walking, and then he starts hearing drums being beaten. He's like, aha, somebody's here, humanity. He goes there, starts running. He goes there, and then he finds that there are tribes. There's a tribesman, they are there. The king is there, and they're all dancing, and Mother Kali is there. And so they see the king, and they're all very, very happy. They start running towards the king, and king is also very happy, like, okay, fine, they're. But what was happening was that these tribal men wanted to find a human being that they could sacrifice in front of Kali. So they find a king, and it's like, oh, what a wonderful bhoga today for Kali. Not only a human being, a king on top of that. So they catch hold of the king, they bathe him, they put on nice clothes, and they lay him down, and the man is about to, chop off his head. And before he chops off his head, he's just inspecting the king, and he says that there is one finger which is not there. He says, no, we can't give that kind of a bhoga to Kali. She needs to have a full human being with all the 10 fingers and 10 toes and 2 ears and nose, like that. You cannot do this. So they let go of the king. The king is so relieved. And then he comes back and he says, oh my goodness, I'm so happy that I didn't have a finger. And then he remembers the minister. And he says, oh, my prime minister was, oh, where is the prime minister? Oh, my minister. Oh, he's in the dungeon. He quickly orders his courtman. He says, bring him back, bring him out. So he comes back and he profusely apologizes to him. Profusely apologizes that, I'm so sorry that I had to put you into the jail and worst of the jail that I had. Please forgive me. And then minister says that, no, don't feel sorry. Whatever Krishna does, does for the good. For your finger, you see, we threw me in the dungeon. It was for my good. He said, I can understand the finger part of it. But can you please explain what good would have come from me throwing you in the dungeon like that? So he said, okay, let's take a few steps back. If you had not thrown me in the dungeon, I would have been with you in the hunt. And both of us would have gone there. And by the way, I have a finger. Right? So that is faith in Krishna. That is the way we look at Krishna and we say, everything that Krishna does is for my good. Understanding faith from Bhagavad Gita. So which chapter of Bhagavad Gita talks about faith? Huh? Divisions of faith, exactly, yeah, for 500 points. What chapter number is that? Chapter 17, right? Is that the only chapter where he talks about faith? 9 talks about faith. Right? It comes in quite a few places, quite a few chapters. There's 7th chapter that we are reading today. Does it talk about faith? The chapter we are reading for Chad, month of Kartik. Does it talk about different kinds of faith? People have faith in demigods, right? And I strengthen that faith. They're going to do that, right? So in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna explains faith in a very, very interesting way. And he's telling us, and especially in the 15th chapter, Divisions of Faith, Krishna is telling us that faith is not just a belief. We talked about belief and, strong belief and confidence and this and that and this and that, right? But here, Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that faith is not just a belief, but it is an integral aspect of our existence. Very, very integral part. Remember we talked earlier about we act according to our faith, right? It's an integral part. Whatever you do, who you worship, what you're going to eat, how you give donations, right? All those kinds of things are there in chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita. Divisions of faith. Faith can be of different kinds, right? So the kind of faith that you have, and it's just a summary, we talked about that. How we live, our faith is reflected in daily activities such as worship, diet. Is our faith reflected in the diet? Right? Yeah. Then sacrifices, what kind of sacrifices that you do, right? Then austerities that you do, charity you perform, yeah. It is all this is revealing that I'm going to do some connection, there's some connection to something that is superior to me. And I'm giving sacrifices, I'm taking austerities. Why should I do austerities for Krishna unless I believe Krishna is better than I am? Right? There's no need for me to do that. So then, as you start with your faith, Adau Shraddha, right? So things begin with faith. And then ultimately, your faith will evolve. It'll be, less in the beginning. It'll evolve till you reach a stage in your life where you will start doing selfless service to the Lord. Selfless service. Right? So it will evolve. Over your life, your faith is going to evolve. First is the conception. So this is very, very important for us to note in our lives, keep in our hearts, and keep in our minds as we go through the rest of our lives. Right? That the actuality of the existence that we have, the reality of our existence. And what does 15.7 say in a nutshell? Anybody remember 15? Very good. Mame Vansha Jivuloke, right? So Mame Vansha Jivuloke is basically saying that I am a part and parcel of Krishna. Right? We are eternal parts of the ultimate reality. Now, isn't that wonderful? So when you think that I'm part of Krishna, I'm not separated from Krishna, how will I ever do anything that is antagonistic towards Krishna? I will never do that. Right? I'm a part of Krishna, so how will I ever think that Krishna is going to do anything wrong to me? Right? So your faith has to evolve to that level. Right? Ultimate reality, also our faith should be that Krishna is both. Right? In chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks, Evam satata yukta ye bhaktastam parupasyate ye chapi aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. So he's asking the question, which is a better devotee? The one who is worshipping you or the one who worships the impersonal? Right? And then what does Krishna say, point blank? The one who worships me. Yeah. One who worships me is the best. That is my opinion. Point blank in verse number 2 he says that, right? So then, this concept and this acceptance and this faith should be there that Krishna can be a personality and he can also be not a personality. He can be both. His effulgence, right? And there's no difference between the two. So we have to have that faith also, right? So the first faith was I'm a part and parcel of Krishna. And who is Krishna? Krishna can be a personality. Krishna can be in the impersonal form also, right? And then we also have to align ourselves, like I said in the previous slide, the mood of service has got to be there. And in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says that, do all the yagyas for Vishnu, right? So do that. And how you do the above, right? The above 2 things that I've talked about, right? How much you do, how better you do, how badly you do, that demonstrates the level of the evolution of your faith, right? So when Krishna is revealing his universal form to Arjuna, he says, Nimitta mata bhava savyasachin. He's saying, you're just an instrument. Don't think you're going to do everything. You are the doer. You're just an instrument. And then Arjun accepts that wholeheartedly. It takes him 18 chapters to do that, or from 11 to 18, 7 more, right? Then he's in 18, what does he say? Karishyami tava vacha. I'm going to do whatever you want me to do, right? So Arjuna's faith itself, from the person who was in despair, completely confused and paralyzed in the 1st chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, now in the 8th chapter, he's fully charged and he says, I'm going to fight the war, like that, right? So Shraddha in the beginning is weak, komal, like a banyan tree. You can sway it this way, you can sway it that way. As with practice, it will become Shaktiman. It will become strong. Right? Like a banyan tree. You cannot move it. You cannot sway a banyan tree. Right? Like that. So how do we increase the Shraddha? We have talked so much about Shraddha. I need Shraddha. I've got little Shraddha. How do I increase the Shraddha? So the first thing that you will do for increasing Shraddha is to association of devotees. And you said you came here for association of devotees, right? So that's one of the key factors in which your faith is going to increase there. You make holes. There's Shraddha and there is Ashraddha. There's faith and there is disbelief. So you have to make the fabric of disbelief that surrounds us, you have to make holes in that fabric. And how are you going to make the holes? You're going to make the holes by hearing about Krishna, right? Observe people who talk about Krishna. Are they really practicing what they taught you, right? Then L is you learn from them, whatever they're doing. How are they putting on the tilak? How are they doing devotional service? How are they offering the arti? So on and so forth, right? And then E is you experiment. You try to do it yourself. You try to chant yourself, right? And S is that now you go and showcase it to the whole world. You are doing it, you learned it, you practice it, now you show to the whole world. And talk about Krishna, talk about devotional service there. Right? So there is faith. There's a means to increase in the faith, but there is blind faith also. Right? So, blind faith. Accepting something without considering its limitations or its flaws. Right? Now, one of the things about blind faith, and I found this very powerful statement, is that as we go about showcasing, right, in the holes, the S of the whole, right, as we go about showcasing devotional service, and we present ourselves as devotees of Krishna, followers of Srila Prabhupada, like that, people can sometimes have a blind faith on us, right? They will think worlds of us, especially neophytes who have just been exposed to Krishna consciousness. They see us with a tilak, they see us chanting, they see us, keeping Ekadashi vratas, coming on Mangal Arati. They don't know what's going on in our minds, though. So they have blind faith in whatever we are doing, right? So if someone has blind faith in you, don't prove them blind. It's very, very important responsibility for all of us. Right? And then, after you increase your faith, faith can also get corrupted. It can get corrupted by pride. Pride in ourselves. Pride in the fact that, I've become such a big devotee, nice devotee. Then what's going to happen? My mind is going to shut. And all the tools that I have for gathering information about Krishna, which strengthens my faith, is actually going to stop. Right? So pride is a very big enemy of faith. Right? When you have faith and you have pride, I have a devotee, I know everything, I've read the Bhagavatam, what's there? This is everything about Krishna. Why don't you understand? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? We go and scold a neophyte. That's not the way, right? So if we go that route, we close our mind from gathering more information about it, then what do we have to rely on? Will be the dogmatic principles, right? It's written there, I follow it blindly, we become blind ourselves, right? And then we become fanatics. Don't question me. It's written like that. Why are you questioning me, right? But a humble person with humility, that person is going to say, okay, it's written there in the Shastra. Let me go and ask a guru. Let me go and ask a devotee. What exactly does it mean, right? So faith is essential. It's an important part of the life. And we can lose faith also very equally. So it's very, very important to maintain our humility. And as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Trinad api sunichena staror iva sahasruna amanina manadena kirtanya sadahari. So always, always, always maintain a humble mood. Okay? So with that, we are on the top of the hour. So I'll stop the Krishna Katha here. Thank you so much for joining, listening attentively, and participating here, and praying to the Lordships that all of us have got renewed and fortified faith in the coming days here. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha goprimanande Hari Hari Bol.
Her Grace Shraddha Mataji ki.
Oh, you're going to take it? Thank you.
Hare Krishna devotees, now we will be doing the Damodar Ashtakam. So everyone can face the deities, and if you would like to offer a lamp, you can get in line over here.
Oh, good. That's fine. Yeah.
Hello.
What is that? This is the headphone. You use it better. And this is for harmony. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Is it okay? Hare Krishna. We'll start. Nama Vishwaram Satchit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Ishvara Satchit Anandarup Namavishwaram Satchit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana यशोदाभियो लोकलाघवमाना परामृष्टमत्यन्ततो धृतगोप्या यशोदाभियो लोकलाघवमाना परामृष्टमत्यन्ततो धृतगोप्या Jantantam Mohonetra Yupam Rijantam Taram Bhojayagnena Shatankanetra युग्ममृजन्तं करं भोजयुग्नेन शातङ्कनेत्रा मुहुर्नेत्रा युग्ममृजन्तं मुहुश्वासकं पात्रिरेकान्तकन्तं स्थितदेव दामोदरं भक्तिपदम् मुहुश्वासकं पात्रिरेकान्तकन्तं स्थितग्रेव दामोदरं भक्तिपदम् लीलाधीरानन्दकुण्डे आघोषं निमज्जन्तं लीलाधीरानन्दकुण्डे आघोषं निमज्जन्तं नाथपयन्तम् तदीयेषु तद्मेषु भक्तिर्वितत्वा न प्रेमतस्तं तदीयेषु तद्मेषु भक्तिर्वितत्वा न प्रेमतस्तं तदीयेषु तद्मेषु भक्तिर्वितत्वा न प्रेमतस्तं शतावृत्तिराजो तद्मेषु परं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षं वधिं वा न चान्यं मृणेऽहं परिषदपिहा देवमोक्षं न मोक्षं वधिं वा परं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षं वधिं वा नेहं वरिषदपिहा देवमोक्षं न मोक्षं वधिं वा इदं तेव पूर्णार्थ गोपालबाला सदा मे मनस्य विराष्टं किमन्ये इदं तेव पूर्णार्थ गोपालबाला सदा मे मनस्य विराष्टं किमन्ये इदं ते मुखाम्बोजम् अत्यन्तनीले कृतं कुन्तलैस्निग्धरक्तश्च गोग्रा ते मुखाम्बोजम् अत्यन्तनीले धृतं कुन्तलैस्निग्धारक्तश्रगोप्या स्निग्धं ते मुखाम्बोजम् अत्यन्तनीले धृतं कुन्तलैस्निग्धारक्तश्रगोप्या ते मुखाम्बोजम् अत्यन्तनीले चुम्बितं बिम्बरक्तधरं मे मनस्य विरष्टं मनं लक्ष्यलाभे चुम्बितं बिम्बरक्तधरं मनस्य विरष्टं मनं लक्ष्यलाभे नमो देव दामोदर अनन्त विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःखजालभिमग्ना नमो देव दामोदर अनन्त विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःखजालभिमग्ना कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्याति दीनं बतानो देहाने क्षमावदने द्रक्षिदृष्ट्या कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्याति दीनं बतानो कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्याति दीनं बतानो गृहाणे क्षमामदने द्रक्षिदृष्ट्या मजो बद्धमचेतयात्वा दयामोचितो भक्ति भाजुकृतो आत्मजो बद्धमचेतयात्वा दयामोचितो भक्ति भाजुकृतो आत्मजो बद्धमचेतयात्वा दयामोचितो भक्ति भाजुकृतो सूर्यात्मजो बद्धमचेतयात्वा दयामोचितो तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वधाम मे प्रयच्छ मोक्षे ग्रहो मे श्रीरामोदरेण तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वधाम मे प्रयच्छ मोक्षे ग्रहो मे नमस्ते धामने राधे धामने त्वदीय दीप्तिधाम्ने त्वदीयोदरायार्थ विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमोऽस्ते धाम्ने स्तोरादीप्तिधाम्ने त्वदीयोदरायार्थ विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो अनन्तलीलाय राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो अनन्तलीलाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो अनन्तलीलाय नमो राधिकाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो राधिकाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो राधिकाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो अनन्तलीलाय देवाय राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो राधिकाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो राधिकाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो अनन्तलीलाय देवाय Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna. So today's Narsingha prayers we would like to dedicate to His Grace Rashika Shekhar Prabhu. He left us. Today is his disappearance anniversary. So we like to dedicate this Narsingha prayers in memory and honor of His Grace Rashika Shekhar Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everyone loudly. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare everyone Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Narasimha. Do Narasimha. Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadayine Narasimha कृष्ण अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनु भृंगा केशवधृता धर्मनिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे नवकर कमल ये नाथा अद्भुत श्रृंगार ललिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनु भृंगा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय 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 प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and welcome to our ISKCON of Silicon Valley Sunday Feast. Today, our Sunday Feast was brought to us by Her Grace Shraddha Mataji, who spoke on the topic of reposing our faith. So please, a huge round of applause for our speaker today. Next, we'd also like to thank His Grace Sachinandan Nimai Prabhu for bringing us the Damodar Ashtakam as well as Narsingha Arti. And of course, a big thank you to our broadcasting team led by His Grace Charunamai Prabhu, without we would not have a broadcast. So are there any new devotees today? You can just raise your hand if you are attending here for the first time. Hare Krishna, welcome Prabhu, welcome. So if it is your first time attending, welcome. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to myself or Sri Gopal Prabhu right here, and we would be happy to assist you.
So we know that there are some new families who are visiting, and they are from Irvington High School Mathematics Department. So thank you for coming. Are they here? Thank you. Thank you for visiting the ISKCON of Silicon Valley. We are fortunate to have you here. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
And now we'll have the sponsors for today.
So we have 3 sponsors for tonight's feast. The first one is Her Grace Sukomala Radhe Mataji is sponsoring in the memory of our dear His Grace Rashika Shekhar Prabhu. So please, Sukumala Mataji, please come here. As you know, Rashika Shekhar Prabhu, he was the one-man army. You know the Sankirtan Central that we are running from our room here, that used to be in his home, and he was responsible for ordering the books, supplying devotees, supplying the books to the devotees, accounting, distributing, and lot many services. We need an army of devotees who is taking care of the services that His Grace Rashika Shekhar Prabhu was doing. So we are missing him very dearly. So please come, Mataji, and thank you for sponsoring the feast. So please say a few words.
Hare Krishna, everyone. It's been 11 years today, and I know I wouldn't be standing here if it were not for all the support, the love, the affection, the encouragement I received after his passing. And I pray that you keep me in your prayers so I have good health, so I can serve my Guru Maharaj and all the devotees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Our next sponsor is an anonymous sponsor. The devotee is sponsoring on the occasion of her father's birthday. So we wish her father a very healthy and a long life and a spiritual progress in his life. So let's thank the anonymous donor as well. Thank you. And we also have His Grace Sachinanda Nimai Prabhu is sponsoring tonight's feast. Please. Was it a wonderful kirtan today? Did you have? Haribo! So thank you, Prabhu, for your melodious kirtan, and thank you for sponsoring the feast. Would you like to say a few words?
It was good to sing after 2 years here in the temple. So that's all.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So here is a gift, and thank you, Hare Krishna. And Madhuri Sakhi will continue our announcements for what's coming up next.
So, can anyone guess what festivals or any events that are coming up? Okay, I'm hearing a lot of different ones. Yes, Anusha, you're right. We are having our Black Friday Harinam. This happens every year in San Francisco on Powell Street and Market Street. And so there will be more information and details sent out on our email. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And you can also reach out to Shamalangi Mataji Sri Gopal Prabhu if you have any more questions regarding that event. Anything else? All right. Now we have the cooks that Radhika will announce.
Hare Krishna. The cooks for today are Shama Karuna Mataji, Gopi Priya Mataji, Anushka Mataji, Gopi Janapriya Mataji, Tarini Mataji, Tapamai Prabhu, Anay Prabhu, Kartik Prabhu, Shama Bhakta Prabhu, Hitesh Prabhu, Sriram Prabhu, and Divyanand Prabhu. And our cleaning is led by Arun Prabhu and Sham Sundar Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, dear devotees, for coming here today. We'll also have Gopi Geet sung here at 7 p.m. So now we'll go into prasadam prayers by one of the youth.
So prasadam will be served outside. You can come inside and honor the prasad, but we'll first have a prasadam prayers before you honor the prasad. Hare Krishna.
Sharira vidyaja jo hindriya tahika jive prane vishaya sagore ramad jivayati logo moy sukhimati tagi jita kartina samsare Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahme Vaishnave Sarvamyavatana Jalan Vishwasade Jayate Prasade Sarva Dukkhana Maya Sopacharate Prasana Chetase Ashu Buddhi Bhava Pranishate Prayoga Buddha Sangala Vasalankara Sarchita Ushista Bhojina Bhasa Stava Maya Jayemati Bhagavad Shri Mahaprasada ki Nitai Gaura Haribo Haribo Haribo